I love today's concept for you. If you've seen the other videos I've done, shoot forward to about 2 minutes, 30 seconds, and you'll be able to go straight into today's project. But Joy of Noel is the stamp set I'm using, and what I've done is I've created myself a whole host of these 3 images on the bottom of the set to create myself some great Christmas cards. It's so easy to just bulk craft and change it up so that you get a different style each time, and that's what I'm going to be showing you to do today. So I'm going to be using some basic white cardstock A4, and I'm going to ink these 3 images up using Memento, and I'm just going to stamp them all over this sheet. Now I did about 4 or 5 of these, and then I sat in front of the telly and coloured them all and cut them. So this is just an example for you. I used Cherry Cobbler Dark and Light on the berries on every single one of the images. I didn't change colours. Mossy Meadow Light and Dark for the leaves. And then for the other leaves that look like a holly leaf, I used Light and Dark Lost Legume. Now, because I'm going to be fussy cutting these out, and I'm going to be putting them onto backgrounds that aren't white, in fact, they might not include white at all, I have gone around the edge and given what I call the image a halo. I've used wild wheat and I've gone around the edge of the whole image and then coloured in that bit so that when I fussy cut, if I don't get it smack on the line, it's not going to matter because you're not going to see that basic white. Now, as I said, I'd done this to a whole host of them, cut and snipped them out while in front of the TV. That's my relaxed time. I love that. And these projects are going to be showing you how you can bulk create them into the same Christmas card, or you can step it up and change it as you go along and have different cards using the same pieces. So this is one of the videos, and the others are going to be on my channel. I'm bringing them all to you in the week. All of them are going to have the same introduction. So if you've seen this 3 or 4 times, I do apologise, but hopefully it makes sense. And once you fussy cut them out, these are all your pieces that you're going to build together to make the project. So let me show you what project I'm going to be doing today. It's all using the Joy of Noel stamp set. Let's get started. So for this project, I'm going to be creating a mixture of tags and cards. I started off doing tags, but at the end I do make one of them into the card, so make sure you stay around for there. I'm going to be using the DSP that coordinates with this stamp set. This is it. It's 12 by 12. It has some absolutely beautiful images on it. It's double-sided. I love it. It's available from my store if you want to go and click and look through all of them, but you're getting a quick sneak preview of all of the pictures that are on these cards. I'm also using Wild Wheat and Very Vanilla as my base cardstocks for this project. You can use whichever you want, by the way. I know Wild Wheat is a bit of a Marmite colour. Some people love it, some people hate it. Really up to you. So for this one, I'm cutting my Very Vanilla cardstock at 10 centimetres by 15 centimetres. Now, I've already told you I'm doing 3 of them, so make sure you have enough supplies for 3 so that we can bulk craft and bulk create them. Okay. Then I'm going to be using my 3 trio punch. There's a specific name for that. I will have to find it out and link it on this video. But this is the punch. And isn't it cute? You can find it from my store, but I'm going to be using it 2 ways. So I'm using the edging one to create the tag corners, and then I'm using this little slot one that's at the corner of it, and it punches out this tiny little slot that is great for ribbons. So it's your ribbon slot punch. I love that punch. I use it all the time. I think it's great. And I will put the name at the top of this video for you. Then I'm going to be using this wood panel DSP, which I love. There's no rhyme and reason with using this. You don't have to have it horizontal or vertical or, with the wood grains. I'm cutting it down so that it's 13 centimetres by 8 centimetres, but you'll notice that one of my bits has the wood going the other way. It really doesn't matter for this card, it's personal preference. And I just wanted to get as many out of the DSP as possible, so I've gone with all different ways. I'm then using Wild Wheat, and I'm just cutting myself centimetre strips out. Now, at the moment, the length doesn't really matter because I'm going to stick it down and then chop it once it's stuck, but you want to make sure you've got the length to cover the whole of the tag. And I'm just putting it on the background here so that it has a little bit of decorative value. I'm marking where the DSP is going to go so that I know when I stick this down it's in the right place, and I'm making sure it's straight by lining it up on my grid paper. And then just snip. and snip to make sure that it's the same size and shape as your tag. And then you can add your background piece on there. Now I ran out of seal through this and I didn't replace it, and I went on to going to use our multi-purpose liquid glue. Either's fine. You can either use glue, tape runner, sticky strip, whatever you want to do to get this on the card. It doesn't matter so long as it's sticking flat. And then these are the bits that we cut earlier. Now, fiddle around with these. The great thing about having these loose and having a few of them is that you can work out which way you want them positioned on your card. Dimensionals are your best friend because they help keep pieces together when you've decided that they're in a position that you like. I liked this position, but you can't always use them on every piece. So at the moment I'm fiddling with the little pieces. I'm going to stick these flat so that it gives my card some texture and it looks a bit more 3D. So I'm going to be using multi-purpose liquid glue to stick these down when I've worked it out. So even though I pick them up together as a two and I like it like that, I can't stick them down like that. So I have to just remember it and use my multi-purpose liquid glue to get it right. Now you can bring in as many different pieces as you like. I'm going to bring in another one a little bit later on. The best thing about having a load of these cut up is you can customize these cards and make them exactly how you want, which I think is fun. So for the sentiment, I'm going to be using Very Vanilla again, and I'm going to be using this Noel. I've used this an awful lot recently and I really like it. And what's also great is you can fussy cut the Noel out, and so you can have them in a line rather than as a cube. I'm going to keep them as a cube because I do think they're cute, and I'm going to be using wild wheat so that the whole thing goes together. But if you did choose a different colour scheme, use that and pop that in. The great thing about this is you can fit this to whichever colour scheme you want, especially using wood DSP because it's not going to clash with anything. So as you can see, when I put my Noel down, I decided I wanted another bow on the other side, which I have now stuck, and I stuck that flat with the multi-purpose liquid glue to give it even more texture. And then I can stick my sentiment on. But before then, I decided I wanted a frame for it. So while I had chopped it down to the size of the wording, I decided then to put a little frame behind it. So whatever size you've cut yours to, just add 0.5 centimetre on and you will get a slightly larger cardstock like that sitting just behind it. And that is how I'm going to stick it onto my card. So I'm using dimensionals to stick that down too. And you can see I cut 3 out because it's so much easier to create a lot at one go and then bulk stick them all together than keep going back, getting everything out and doing it all again. So that is pretty much the base of my tag, which I loved. I'm using a gold trim, which I think is lovely. This is from the Elegant trim. You get a silver and a gold. I normally use the silver, but gold is reserved for me for Christmas. And you can see I'm just popping a little bow on the top there to make this a cute tag, and then I'm just chipping it so that we have a bow at the top, and there is that card. Now what I decided to do with the final one is I decided to trim this card down. So I haven't trimmed it all the way. You can still got the ribbon in there, and you can also see that I've just trimmed a little bit off the bottom. And what I'm actually doing here is I'm trimming, but I'm not trimming the image. Right, so I'm not trimming the bit that we'd already cut out and the bit we'd done. I'm just trimming the cardstock behind it. Now, in hindsight, this would have been a lot easier and a lot better to do beforehand, but I hadn't realised I wanted to make a card beforehand. So I thought to myself, I've done 2 tags, why not mix it up and make this into a card? So the card base of Very Vanilla is half a sheet of A4 cut in half at 14.8 centimetres, scored at 10.5 centimetres. That creates my card base. So I've just trimmed that down because the Very Vanilla we had to start off with was 15 centimetres. So I just needed to take those little bits off. I'm still popping on my bow. I'm still keeping the ribbon strip, but it's just now going to be short enough to fit on a card. So we can stick it onto the card base like that, and we can make it into a card rather than have it as a tag. Now it's up to you. You can stick this flat, you can stick it with multi-purpose liquid glue, you can stick it however you like. I'm going to be using a foam sheet. So just cut yourself a foam sheet out. Stick it at the back. This is going to make it 3D. It's really going to make it pop off your card. But the thing to mention is the fact you do have those corners. So make sure you've chopped those off before you stick it down. And there you go. Stick it onto your card. Absolutely beautiful card, I think. So I liked the tags, but I do like the card just as well. Now we do have red metallic effects, but I have chosen to use the gold on this, and I've just popped a few little dots onto this card here, and I'm doing the exact same thing on the tags so that they have the embellishments as well. Everything I've used today is available from my store. The link is at the bottom of the video, just there. And if you've liked it, come back, because I'm making a host of cards using these little bits, and I'd love you to see what else I've made. Do like and subscribe, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.